what have we been up to? We've been 1 year in the office. So everybody say, what are we doing? What has happened? My brother, we launched what I would say the most ambitious stakeholder engagement exercise. And it was for a reason. We came in February 10th. By February 11th, history was made. We were the first. It probably hasn't happened in government in Nigeria. The first day the agency was created, we held a meeting and we approved our 2-year plan. By the second day, the board of the organization, all 18 members, led by our capacity chairman, he approved the strategic roadmap. We took that same thing the next week. We went to our National Assembly committees, and it's not just help us approve it quickly. No, we spent 1 to 2 hours with them, explaining to them these ideas and letting them understand why we don't want to go the approach of the micro initiatives. But instead, we want to think big, huge ambitions, but do it in a structured way. When we were done there, we took all the board, the chairman led us, and we went to all the 5 Southeast governors, presenting that plan and asking them for their input 1 year ago. When we were done with that, we went to Enugu, sat in a room with 170 of the organized private sector, Manufacturing Association, National Association of SMEs, Chambers of Commerce of all the major cities in the Southeast. We presented for 45 minutes and we listened for 5 hours. It was in that meeting. Because why stakeholder engagement is good is that you're listening to the people who are creating jobs. You're listening to the people who are the average man in the economy, and you're hearing their expectations. Going into that meeting, 65% of our audience say, start with regional rail. We need it like yesterday. When we sat with owners of capital, industrialists, they said, if you start with rail, we will burn your office down. We said, why? He said, the most important thing we need is gas. All our factories are running on diesel and it's taking up 70% of our turnover. But gas will reduce it by almost 80%. So therefore, you focus on gas, it allows us to industrialize. When you industrialize, you create jobs. When you create jobs, you actually have the people that will ride the trains, the businesses that will also be riding on those trains, and most importantly, you have the energy and the power source to energize the trains. This again, you're getting live feedback from them. After that, we went online. We sat with diaspora through Twitter and spoke to 5,000 people, presented our plans, and we took 72 questions. People shared their ideas, their thoughts, and this and that. We moved on. Went again to Abuja and sat with the international development organizations. We said, here is our plan. We want to come to you for funding in the future. Critique it. Let us know the areas where you think we should change. When we were done with that, we kept moving. Last year for us was for us to build the real institution. It was always clear that because of the debt that the government was servicing, inherited debt that the federal government was servicing, that there were going to be liquidity challenges. In spite of not earning salary even, the SCDC, the executive management, was working every day, ensuring that we could put forward a program. And with that program, once the funding starts to come, we then start to unlock it. But we cannot build El Dorado in one day. The examples we have of places that have created and transformed their economies, it didn't happen in 6 months. It took time. So the Senate issue.
Before you get to the Senate issue, so I must follow suit when one senator recommended that you have oral prowess. I don't know whether it's a robustness or something. I must commend you for that, but the grammar is too much. How do we make the woman in Ezeago understand what you guys are doing? How do we make the woman in Atekoka? How do we make the person at EZ equal understand in strategic, industrial? How do we put the ball on the floor and start rolling? because Afomo, your interview with one Olusegun Dada, when you went to present to the president what you guys have done while 100 days in office. This was May last year.
Yes.
And this is almost what you were saying there. You know, we can't keep hearing this thing, because I saw it. 78 major programs. That is what you said, you guys. One of them is the Southeast Security Intervention. You know, you also mentioned agro development program and everything. You also said this. There is something that you actually said, and I want to ask you. According to you, and I quote, there are also some interesting things that you presented to the governor that he had. To the president Tinubu, that he has given his approval, but you will wait for his office to formally announce those things. According to you, you said that you think that the Southeasterners will be getting perhaps one of the big announcements that hasn't been done, perhaps since the 60s. You said it. Something that will catalyze the real sector and the industrialization space within the Southeast. What is this announcement? Why hasn't it been done? You said this by May last year. This is going to a year now.
It was announced by June 18th.
It was announced. What was the announcement?
The announcement is Mr. President, in his own right, made an approval for us. Okay, maybe I just need to explain to you how government works. Right? As a government agency, you are not a private sector organization.
Okay.
You have powers to regulate the society. You have powers captured in your law.
Yes.
Right? That you can draw on. But you cannot function like a private company. Right? As a government agency, you would depend on whatever resources that are put in the agency. And then that's where you scope your work and then you take off. Right? What Mr. President did with that announcement and approval was to give us, a government agency, the approval to go and create our own investment company that we will use to operate and bring in resources from our brothers abroad, from our brothers around the country, from other people who want to invest in the region. We can use that to then complement whatever funds we get from the federal government for impact. Let me give a simple example. If, for example, we got a land somewhere in Oka, and we said, oh, let's build a modern world-class market there, because Oka needed one that will serve Oka, most of the communities all the way closer to Onitsha, and even parts of Enugu. And this market could cost maybe 50 billion, for example. Maybe SCDC does not have more than 2 or 3 billion to bring into that project. This Southeast Investment Company allows us bring our 3 billion, use it for architectural designs, maybe initial foundation, the drawings of the market, and then take that project and offer it to our people and say, come and invest and own a piece of it.
Yes.
That is the vehicle that allows us to mobilize those resources to fast track these things. Number 2, say gas pipelines today. There is gas in Oguipele. There is gas in Orashi. As a government agency, all I can do is to say, we have done a plan. And when I have that plan, what do? I'll appeal to the governors, appeal to other key stakeholders. Let's go and present it in front of Mr. President so that he can fund it. And it adds to all the other priorities of all that the government is facing. With this investment company, do you know what we can do? If we finish that plan, that company can go and take that project to any bank in the world and say, this is a $1 billion project. This is the feasibility study. This is the return on investment. And that bank can fund that company. So it allows us come into the region and have a platform that we can use to raise any type of monies for projects in the Southeast, whilst building a wealth base for the commission and for the region. Ultimately, with the approval he gave, even everybody who's from the region and beyond will be given the opportunity to own a piece of that company. The state governments will be given the opportunity to invest in that company. That company, if you saw the approval that was announced on, I think, 18th June last year, it said it's drawing its foundations from the Eastern Nigeria Development Company. So it's something similar, but the difference between what he approved for the SCDC and the Southeast versus what existed before is that then it was operating at purely government. Now we can offer it to BAM, and BAM can say we are going to put 5 million naira and buy some percentage in that project. That's the difference. That's the difference. Say, for example, let me give you another example. The Southeast Venture Capital Program. It's an SCDC design program. But the vehicle that will carry that program is Southeast Investment Company. Because even if, for example, we have 1 or 2 billion to invest in that fund, we are going to open venture capital to other people who want to invest. What is it, bad boy? That's venture capital. But why is it not as robust as it used to be? Technology has disrupted our markets. Everybody is sitting, owners of those markets are relaxing somewhere, using a sales girl they are paying, and they are still doing their trades. So already the Igbo man is used to investing in new ventures and giving life to a young person. We think that that same mindset can be redirected to invest through the venture capital and give us a thriving innovation and digital economy in the Southeast. All these things like gas, like rail, that is the same vehicle that we want to use to do the planning so that we can use that vehicle to easily raise funding. So I was in a board meeting earlier today. We were already putting the finishing touches to that company. Its own board is going to be announced. We are going to seed some funding into it so that a number of these initiatives will start rolling out. But I don't want to say too much because I think the next 100 days are going to be quite exciting for the Southeast.
We're looking forward to it. We need to, but I understand the stage where you guys are in now is not yet kinetic. It's not yet in motion. You guys are still appealing, projecting, proposing, and everything. Nkaifo trend, just this week. I forever apuye yotago. Adore and everything. I actually a lot of Ndibo were not impressed by what they saw and everything. And then someone like me, I bought into some of their sentiments because we saw a lot of bogus stuff on that we did not understand. And then somebody said one from one AIF media, I do not know why Ndibo who found themselves in leadership positions turn their back against their people, Then some people bought into the sentiment of Ayaka Nsugbe, Senator Tony Nwoye and everything. They were saying, where is the infrastructure? You're talking about CCTV, talking about stakeholders, and then millions of money will go into just meeting. Where is the infrastructure? And then a short clip of you talking about the orientation. And I wonder, is this like categories? So can you give us a robust explanation? You've already said, don't repeat yourself what you said, because we've already seen the video and everything. Some of those things in the budget, is it if I rightly have the budget here, I can see procurement of equipment, CCTV drones, innovation hubs, legal setup, technical. Can you break some of these things down? And would you say that they present a BHO present or now make a mistake, or do you, are you still standing where you are, and then you need to explain better? Please go ahead. That Senate committee presentation. Obakandi Igbo.
No, I'm sure. You know, I've tried not to actually speak about this because I'm just someone who believes in allowing your performance, right?
To speak for
to
you.
speak for you and to speak for itself. My records are there.
My name is also Nanyolugo. So many people are asking me, how do you make so much money at this your young age? And I ask them, why do you carry so much money and put in the bank when you can carry the same money and put in the land? I am who I am today because I do land banking with Pine Leaf Estate and Properties Limited.